Here's Ray suggesting to his family that they take the time to capture the family history in some permanent form.
Well, that talks a bit about, not really the history, I wouldn't go through the genealogy of the family, but that gives you a history linked together and just different stories that are passed on. And I want you to make an important distinction here about stories and history. Because in our family, the history was all passed on through the stories over the dinner table or the lunch table. And my kids still talk about what they learned about their grandfather and grandmother and all these stories. And they usually be stories wrapped up in some amusing tale of some sort, which also got blown completely out of proportion when appropriate, as families do. But we wouldn't have any history recorded or written down or anything if it hadn't been for those discussions. And sometimes I think we've got to remember to record some of those things and to speak about those things. The other thing I would implore you to do is to ask those questions, those ones you don't want to ask, or you in fact may want to know about asking them, but you're not sure what's the right time. With your friends, with your family. This is where the rich part of the history is passed on. It's not just following down a chart for who begat who, begot who, who begot who. These are the stories that come from within the family and are passed on. But what worries me is that might drift away, or with families that are really particularly large also, and they move out over the whole country, that often a lot of that will be lost. So I implore families to give some thought about what they're recording with the history. And it's as simple as these days, you video with your phone if you like, or this grand version we have working here with my video history. But find some way to record and measure those things and ask the most important questions. Not just the things you always would, but like I could never get from my dad about the Stigley Flying Cross, for example. Did I ask enough times to know the questions? Did people brush it off as not important? Well, it might not be important to you now, but it is to the next generation and their grandchildren and what on. So you don't have to have a huge store of information, but if you think about how you do it and pass it down from family to family.
And finally, here's Jenny and Tracy urging us all to record our parents and ourselves for our family's sake.
Hi, I'm Jenny DeLacy. When I met Lee Hopkins and he was telling me about his video biography service for terminally ill patients, I had a pang of regret. My mum passed away when I was just 18 years old, and at the time there were 5 kids, so myself and 4 siblings and 2 grandkids. And now, 32 years later, there are 5 kids, 14 grandchildren and 4 great-grandchildren. And I just think how wonderful it would have been to be able to share with our kids her personality and her funny little stories and her lovely smile, and let them see themselves in her. I think people really like to see where they've come from. Would you agree? I think it's a lovely service. And so if you're thinking about doing it and you want a skilled interviewer who knows how to draw out those stories and put people at their ease, then you're in the right place. So I highly recommend Lee and his service, and I wish that I'd been able to meet him and use that service a long time ago.
The other part of my story is that I too, as we all do, have a mother. 10 years ago, my mother started to get a bit forgetful, and we never really thought anything of it. 10 years on, she has dementia. In a perfect world, if I could hop in my time machine one more time and go back, I would go and do a my video history with my mother, so that her now grandchildren, her biological grandchild, who is 4 years old, who she waited her entire life for because it is her only biological grandchild, has a memory of her He knows where he comes from. He can see why I look the way that I do, why I talk the way that I do, and where my history and roots are from. A sense of belonging and a sense of a family history gives all of us such a beautiful sense of meaning. A video history of where we come from gives you such a sense of belonging, which is so important for the foundations of who we are. It sets us up to move forward with strength. I wish I had this for my children, of my mother. We left it too late. Don't be like me, just get it done.
Thank you for watching this video. If you would like more information about the services we offer, please visit our website at myvideohistory.com.au, or you can call us on 08 8120 0300. We look forward to hearing from you.